What's up, everyone, and welcome to another Bitcoin market update. Let's start off here on the monthly time frame. Yesterday, we closed out the monthly time frame with a very bullish candle here, which is good news for the buyers of Bitcoin up here, as we had a very very small lower wick, and then a very small upper wick as well. Very few people selling the rise in price when you're looking at it from the perspective of this monthly time frame, in comparison to the previous month's candle that looked, in my opinion, pretty bearish with a very long upper wick of people selling into the rise in price. So that's good news for the bulls. Let's look at the weekly time frame here. So the weekly time frame, we are currently trying to push higher into new all-time high territory. Once again, we have our high, low, higher high, but we did not close both of these candles above the high. We then came down, formed another higher low in comparison to this one with a long lower wick of people buying the dip. Also good news for the bulls. And then we opened this week and had a short lower wick so far and have pushed up since. So the next main level of resistance for us, if we go higher, is going to be the 63. It's right around like 63.1 to 63.2 pivot level. And that is going to be a significant level that I'm going to be watching. Let's look at the daily time frame here. So on the daily time frame, we have exactly what we talked about yesterday playing out in yesterday's daily candle. We were expecting a potential sweep of this high, which we got, a subsequent push down in price, which we talked about yesterday, and then the daily candle closed as a doji. Now, a doji candle kind of looks like a cross, and if you're not familiar with this candle, it's very important to recognize these candles and what they signify, because when they happen at the top of like runs like this, which this could potentially be the end of the run, or it could go, could continue higher. When it happens, what that is signifying is indecision in the market. And this is where the open and the close of that candle are very close together. And that's what makes it look like a cross, is that the open and the close are almost at the same exact price. And so you traded up significantly in the time frame, you traded down significantly in the time frame, but you closed right around the same level that you opened at. So the buyers and the sellers could not agree on if it was going to be a bullish or bearish candle. Now, because we're seeing all these long white bodies on the way up, and then we see this one. This one down here is a doji candle as well, but it got invalidated with the subsequent next day, us trading up significantly. For this to become valid, when you're looking at one candle, you have to break the low of this candle for that to become like a valid short-term top, right? So this candle could potentially lead to two different scenarios that we talked about yesterday, but let's highlight them again here. What could happen here is this low of this candle right here could end up being the higher low that we're looking for, to then take us from here up to our 63K level. Now, the other scenario is this could be the short-term top of this like 6-day run up in price, and then we come down into this gray zone and then shoot up to the 63K level. The gray level is the area that I'm personally interested in. This is the trade that I'm personally looking to take. I'm not very interested with being a buyer up here, even though when we look at the 12-hour time frame after this, there are support levels that we're currently operating on. I don't really like the price action up here. I would much rather prefer to get a bid filled down here. And the reason for that is because of this gray zone here, which should have acted as resistance on price right here and pushed it down to new lower lows. But instead what happened is the price invalidated that level as resistance, pushed right through it, and then closed candles above it right here. So then that makes this level, the entire candle, a support zone, and you can use the rectangle tool here in TradingView right here to create a rectangle around a support or resistance level. I find it really useful. So this, is the level where we came down initially. I just want to show this real quick. Formed a low right here, a lower high in comparison to this one, and then a lower low with two subsequent candles closing below this low of the white candle from March 23rd, signifying that this is a continuation in the downtrend. We're continuing the trend that we started up here with a uh, low, I'm sorry, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, but then we get a higher high. So we invalidate the trend right here with a change. Now we have a higher high. So now this level that should have acted as resistance will now be strong support on a retest. And we just saw that the pivot indicator here that I like to use just printed a new set of pivot levels for us to keep an eye on for the daily time frame. And we see that our next pivot resistance level is up here at about 65.5. That's good news for the bulls. That's a far ways away from where we are now. That would be about an 11.5% increase in price if we were to go up from here. And then the pivot level is now just got printed inside of this gray zone, further adding confluence to my trading idea that this is a good place to buy Bitcoin and it should support price at least on the first test of it. So what I did here is I laid out my long position tool that you can find here on TradingView right here. You have your long position and then short position if you're going short. But you click the long position, then you can put in your entry price, which for me is 55,888 if I was going to be using this exchange. And then my stop loss is going to be at the bottom of this candle, which is right around here at 52,948. And then my profit level, where I'm anticipating we're going to go, is that weekly pivot level that we talked about, which is right up here at about 63, either 63.2 or 63.1. So it depends on the way that you want to look at that. But if we're just, kind of pulling this to a level, it's roughly, right around here, 63.143. And that gives us a risk to reward of 2.47, meaning that if the trade goes our way, we'll make 2.47 times the amount of money that we would make if the trade were to not go our way. So that is evidenced in the 5.26%. Our stop loss is away from entry, and then the 12.98% that our take profit level would be away from entry. So this is the current trade that I'm looking to take. And let's look at the 12-hour time frame real quick to outline what the price is currently doing on the lower term time frames. We're currently, you can see the R1 pivot is holding very strong here as a resistance level on price and pushing it down. But we also have this support zone, this gray zone that we closed above right here. 2 candle closes above this zone, which initially held as resistance twice. And so once we pushed above it, we have a reaction right here. And now subsequently, we're seeing what's going to happen with 2 inside bar candles on the 12-hour time frame, meaning that whichever way this does end up breaking, it will end up being kind of a more violent move in price, a more volatile move in price, meaning that the price movement will be more significant depending on the direction it breaks. So what you can do when you're looking at candles like this is you can grab your horizontal line tool, and then you can snap one using the magnet tool to one of the to both edges of the candle that you're looking at, the inside bar. And if we break the low of this at 58,203, we will subsequently continue down in price and have like a pretty substantial move down in price, most likely down to the gray zone, which is our main support level. And then we have the other option, which is if we break the high. Now, if we break the high, we'll most likely go above this yellow zone, which is a 4-hour time frame resistance zone that we've been on, that we haven't been able to break through since back here on the 15th of March. So this has been pretty significant for us. And right now we're just getting a lot of chop in this area. The gray zone is our main support zone that's propping up price right now, but you can see that it's kind of bouncing around this range in between the yellow resistance zone and the gray support. So the bulls, the bulls and the bears are going to have to decide if we're going down or if we're going up. So what you can do is then you can look at the 4-hour time frame and see what is the 4-hour time frame telling us. And unfortunately, right now, in my opinion, it's not telling us very much because we're getting a lot of long wicks and a lot of chop. So if you're reading price, you have your low, high, higher low, lower high, but then also a lower low in the same candle. So that is not giving, well, let me see something real quick. Yeah. So that's not really giving us a lot of data. I mean, it's if anything, it's bearish because we have our low and then we have a lower high and lower low in the same candle, but we didn't close on either side. We closed in the middle. So we didn't close, up here, meaning that it would be bullish, and we didn't close below it, meaning it would be bearish. We just closed kind of in the middle. So there's not a lot of good indication there as to where we might be going next. We're probably gonna have to wait for this 4-hour candle and maybe even the next 4-hour candle to give us a decision on where we are going next. Let's look at the 12-hour time frame one more time, and I want to show you one other level to keep an eye on. It's this Doji candle back here. So this Doji candle back here is our other support level that we are going to be looking at to hold on the first test if we come down. You can see that below this wick right here, we had above average bull volume of people buying the dip. So there's going to be stop losses below this low. So if we go down and go below this low, that will, trigger some stop losses and may push us down into that gray zone, that gray support zone down here, which is, you can see, confluent with the body of the candle of that 12-hour level. Let's look at the 4-hour time frame real quick and look at the pattern that we're seeing here. Now, the other thing that I like about this this daily trade, if we do end up getting down to that level, is this pattern right here, the inverse head and shoulders, that we would be coming down into and testing roughly the neckline. It would be a little bit lower than the neckline, but it still is roughly around the neckline, and then that could push us up to that 63K level with some strong support there. If not, it's still, in my opinion, going to be a profitable trade of at least a few percent, even if we were to just go up to this yellow level right here, which is at about 58,742. That would still give us a nice 5% trade. So that's the trade that I'm looking for currently on Bitcoin. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you liked the video, give it a like and subscribe for future educational content around cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And until next time, onward and upward.